Ready? A big ship needs a big torpedo. Interesting.
Progress. So, first game ends in a draw with the white pieces, and
Can
now
you
we're in the
take your
second
dirt
game where I
water?
have the black pieces. Very, very dicey in match situations when you're in the final game of the match and you have to
Shit.
play with black pieces, but you
That
just
way I
try to
can put
stay steady.
my dirt
So
water
Magnus
right
plays
there.
d4, knight f6,
What'd you say?
c4, e6,
I
knight
said that way I
c3,
can
and now
put
I
my
play
dirt
bishop
water
d4,
right
and we
there.
have the
So
classic
now I
d2
can
Indian
see my
defense.
monitor.
Magnus plays e3, I castle, and he goes bishop d2. Now, those of you guys who've been big fans of my channel for a very long time and watching a lot of my recaps, this is a system that I myself have played quite frequently. I played it in the Chess Global Championship against David Navarra. I think I might have also played against Lenier Dominguez. I also played it in the Tata Steel India event at the end of last year against Parham Magsudulu. So it's always tricky when someone plays a system that you've played yourself with the opposite color. So I decided to play what I felt was the best way to try and force the issue immediately versus simply playing position. Now d5 is a very reasonable move, but after say takes bishop d3, c6, and knight f3, the game goes on. I mean, white tries to play, or knight g2. White tries to play for like f3 and e4. And there's no way to simplify. All the pieces stay on the board. And against a player like Magnus, you definitely don't
You got a
want to
dude
do that.
chasing you down that's on
So I play
fire.
c5 here. Magnus plays a3. I trade the bishop for the knight. I go knight e4. And now he plays knight e2, trying to develop this knight. If I take and white takes, white still has some central
Oh,
control
it's a
here. And
vent
after
man.
say b6, after
Vent
takes,
man
takes,
was
say queen
chasing you
c2, bishop
down.
d3, white is
Vent
significantly
fan?
better because
Yeah,
this
vent
op on
fan.
d3 will target
That's
the
the
pawn.
guy.
White
Let's
can cross the
go.
rook,
That's the guy you were
force
talking
the
about last
center
game.
immediately. And I'm still
Yeah, I
lacking
just
in
wasn't sure
development.
if you said vent man or
So,
fan.
I decided to play b6 here, trying to fianchetto the bishop with bishop b7. Magnus goes d5, and here I play this move rook e8. Now, rook e8 is not
What
the
is
best move. Bishop b7, I think bishop a6. Both of these moves are the standard theoretical lines, but I played rook e8 simply because during the game, I realized that if Magnus plays f3 here, after takes, if
Hey,
white takes
man.
with either the pawn or the queen even, this pawn on e3 is hanging. So it's kind of tricky because white can't play f3,
God,
where
I
say
don't
bishop
like that.
b7,
Leave me
the
alone.
long line
Leave
is
me alone. Leave me
f3,
alone.
takes, and now if I take, white just takes because the pawn's not under attack here. So I try to invert the move order and confuse Magnus, and it does work out quite well because Magnus spent a bit of time here. He spent almost 4 minutes before he plays move h4. Now, I don't know the logic behind h4. The way that I rationalize is that either Magnus wanted to play like AlphaZero or the New Age computers, where they push P on the edge of the board, or he had looked at some line or a similar pawn structure where he'd seen this h4 move being played by the computers. So he plays h4 now. This move definitely took me aback a little bit. It's not a move I expected because also it's kind of aggressive. Like, you're creating weaknesses on the king side if you cannot castle your king to the queen side, and castling to the king side is pretty difficult to do as well. So here I take on d5, Magnus takes back with the queen, and now I play knight c6. Worth noting, if white takes with the pawn here, now I can simply go bishop a6, and with these bishops and this knight, it's kind of awkward, and you already start pushing the pawn on the king side, and with no obvious attack, black should be better. So after takes, Magnus plays queen takes, I go knight c6, developing the knight, and now he plays rook to d1, I go queen to e7, and he plays h5 here, and now I go h6. It's worth noting that this is a very important move. If I play a move like bishop h6, or bishop a6, I should say, and white gets this h6, g6 structure, generally based on what we've seen from AlphaZero, Leela, and other computer programs, when you get this structure, white can push a pawn, or black pushes a pawn down the board. Generally, it's very, very difficult to play, and in the end games, you tend to have a lot of problems with this pawn structure. So here I play h6, preventing that. Magnus goes queen d3. Now, you already have to be somewhat careful here with white, because if you play a move like knight to f4 to develop the knight, now I have this bone crusher with knight takes f2, forking these rooks on d1 and h1. If white takes knight, queen takes e3, checkmate, game over. I win the match. All the glory is mine. So you do have to be a little bit careful here. Magnus plays this move queen d3. Now the move I was somewhat expecting was rook h3 to laterally guard the pawn against the sacrifice, but it's a very tough move to play, and it feels somewhat speculative for a couple of reasons. First of all, I can go bishop b7, and after takes, I can simply trade the queens and go bishop to c8 and win one of these rooks. And Magnus also generally, he isn't necessarily a I mean, obviously he plays great tactically, but
Dude, where's
trying
my
to play with
team?
tactical themes that are not obvious.
That's what I'm saying.
It's very difficult. And rook h3 just even to me intuitively feels wrong. It does not feel like the right move. So Magnus plays queen d3 instead, guarding against the sack on f2 once again. And now I play bishop b7. Now, I play this move very quickly. I don't know if it's the best move, but I felt that at this point, I need to develop, because if I don't play bishop b7, computer likes rook b8, for example, which I don't even understand, because I thought after knight f4, white is getting one of these knights to d5 here. And apparently after d6, knight d5, queen g5, I'm just much better. So go figure. What do I know about chess? At any rate, I
Dude,
thought if
this
white was
guy
getting
is so
attacking
beefy.
and jumping with the knight, I would have some issues to deal with. So I played bishop b7.
Oh, his
instead,
buddy's
Magnus
coming
takes
in.
pawn d7, and now I play this very enterprising move, knight to d4. Now, after knight to d4, it looks like white can simply trade the queens, take the knight, and white has an extra bishop on the board. White's just winning the game. But if white plays queen takes e7, I have this beautiful checkmate with knight to c2, and look at these knights. They checkmate the white king, and this would have been my immortal. Of course, Magnus Carlsen, world champion, he's not into any of those memes, any of that stuff. He's not going to let me have an immortal game against him, so he decides to take the knight with the rook, and he still guards the queen on d7. So now I take the rook,
Alright,
we
there's some
trade the queens,
stuff
he takes
going
on
on.
d4, and we sort of reach an endgame here where white has a bishop and 2 pawns for the rook. However, white still is lacking in development. You have 3 pieces
Dude!
of the game yet, and so there
My
are some
teammate
things-
just crashed into me and killed my plane.
Magnus
This is
plays
so
knight to f4.
dumb.
I go knight to d6 here, and now he plays this move f3 after a very long thing. Now already here I was becoming very optimistic, because after white plays a move like b3, I can now go b5 trying to win this pawn, and if white takes the pawn on b5, there are a couple ways in which I should be doing very well, but probably the simplest is rook c1 check, king to d2, and then rook ec7, threatening rook c2, threatening knight to e4. There's also a pin on the back rank of the rook and the bishop, and white's pieces are all completely discombobulated, and I should win the game. So that's why here Magnus uses a lot of time and comes up with a very, very good and very practical decision. Now the move he plays is not the best move in the position, but what happens is we end up in this endgame where after white gets the king to g3, the computer still likes black's position, but white has a very nice wooden shield with this bishop on d4. It can never be removed, by the way. I don't have pawns on either this e or c file to move and attack the bishop. So white has a planted wooden shield here on d4, and with the bishop and the pawn for the rook, and this great knight on f4, which is a bastion, because I can never play g5 due to end peasant, I just can't really claim any advantage. Now, this is the other thing that we don't see it that often in Magnus's games, because Magnus generally gets great positions out of the opening. He's not in a lot of trouble most of the time, but he does have this ability that when he's in trouble, to just flip that switch to where he's able to shut it down, and he doesn't remain overly optimistic about his position, and he just makes a practical decision to get the draw. And this is one such example where he started to sense the danger, and he allows me to win a pawn, but he realizes with the wooden shield, he doesn't have any problems. So here I play rook d7, goes a4, and now I play rook c7.
I'm going
Now,
over on this
is
side
a
with
silly
you.
move, of course, but at this point already, I probably can't win. Computer likes bishop a6, but after, say, rook to a1...
You got a guy
a4,
after you.
a5, takes,
I'll just
a6.
wreck this.
While I can claim some kind of advantage here in this position,
Yak
it's hard to see
9.
any way to break through. The first rank is covered by the white rook. I can't double stack on the second rank because the bishop covers the square. I can't remove the knight because of en passant.
I hit him.
And so
Oh, there's
here it
another
is.
guy after
I know
you.
the computer still prefers
He's
black,
like
but it should be a
hurt
draw.
though.
So after a4, I play rook c7 or
Oh,
a1,
he's down.
and now I just go back, basically admitting I have nothing. Magnus plays
Still
a5,
got a yak
trade,
on you.
a6, rook a3, and now I just play rook to c8 here. And at this point, I offered Magnus a draw once again.
got him.
because here, white doesn't ever really want to remove the knight from f4, because then I can play rook d5 and go after this pawn on the edge. So you don't want to move the knight because it also covers the square. If you don't move the knight, you can't really attack this pawn. It's on the opposite color of the dark square light bishop. And so there just isn't much play for either side. So I offer a draw, Magnus accepts, and we move to Armageddon. Now, for some reason, this is at the start of the game. However, it's not a spoiler. Whew, not a spoiler. Praise the Lord. Sorry about that, you guys. So, headed to Armageddon. In Armageddon, I bid 9 minutes and 17 seconds. Magnus bid 9 minutes and 27 seconds. That means I win the bid, and I choose to play with the black pieces. So the game starts with c4 here from Magnus. Keep in mind, the result is simple. Magnus must win with white. If it's a draw or if I win, I am through to the grand final against Fabiano Caruana. So we get c4, Magnus choosing to play the classic explosive opening. I go knight f6, he plays knight c3, and I go e5, we get knight f3, knight c6, and now Magnus plays d4. It's worth noting earlier today in the semifinal match of the losers bracket, he played the same opening against Levon Aronian. Now, I did look at it very, very briefly, but I was not really expecting it, and so I didn't look at it as much as I should have. Now, in that game, I believe Levon played e4, knight d2, bishop e4, e3, takes castles, and after another really strong move, g4, Magnus was just off to the races, and he won a very clean game. So after d4, I trade, and I play bishop to b4. He goes g3, castles, bishop g2, rook e8, castles. And here I used a bunch of time before playing this move h6. Now, the reason that I did not play this move bishop takes c3 is while this is probably the best way to play, after a move like knight e5, white can go c5. And on top of the fact that there's no clear-cut way for me to go after these double pawns, white ends up with the bishop combo or the bishop pair. And in Armageddon games, if you get the bishop pair, you're going to be able to drag the game on forever. They're not going to be obvious simplifications. And so that's why I chose not to play this move bishop takes c3. Instead, I play h6, and now Magnus goes knight d5, so I can no longer double his pawns on these c4 and c3 squares. We trade the knights, trade more knights, and I go queen to e7 here, and Magnus plays bishop e3, and now I play this move bishop d6, because what I really need to figure out here is how do I develop this light square bishop. I cannot play b6 here, because then there's d6, which creates the classic fossil, where I lose either the rook on a8, or I lose the queen. One of these two pieces is going to fall. So, if I can't go b6, how do I develop the light square bishop? Now, I'd love to play d6 here, but then I hang the bishop as well. So it's very difficult. And if I play bishop a5, white can just go d6 here. And after takes, and rook f d1, this position is absolutely miserable. My light square bishop is simply locked in jail, and I'm going to lose the game. So I decide to play bishop d6. What this does, it shuts down the diagonal, so there will be no fossils. It guards the pawn on c7, and now I can play for b6 and bishop b7, or b6 and bishop a6, and activate my off on that diagonal. So Magnus plays rook d1, I go b6, he goes queen d2, I go a5 here. Now the reasoning behind a5 is that down the road there might be an opportunity where I can put the bishop on c5, and with all these pawns here guarding the bishop, I am completely fine. So I play a5, it also stops white from playing b4, preventing bishop c5 as well, and I just want to go bishop a6. So Magnus plays rook c1, I go rook b8 here. Not bishop a6 right here, by the way, because then I thought he could take on c7, although apparently I'm smoking something, because after takes, bishop takes a8, I have bishop b4, attacking the queen, I'm attacking the bishop, and I'm much better. Now this I didn't see, I didn't want to spend too much time during the game, so I tried to avoid hanging something obvious. So I go rook b8, Magnus plays bishop f4, and I go bishop a6, activating my light square off, or light square bishop on this diagonal. Magnus goes e4, we trade, I go d6. Now I'm guarding the pawn on c7, and I almost have a flying v formation here, but this pawn is always going to be a weakness.
But
So
that's
Magnus
okay.
plays rook c3, queen d8, rook c1, rook e7. He's got the double stack, but I'm holding the pawn, and now he expands on the king side with the h4.
Indeed.
Here I go bishop b5. Now probably in this position, I should have played bishop c8 right away. Because when I go bishop b5, which you'll notice that I
I was
can't
more
really put the
effective
bishop on
than you.
d7 here, because say white plays f3.
Debatable.
If I go bishop d7, I
What's
hang the pawn on
not
c7.
debatable
But I really do
is that
want
I
the
have more
bishop on this
kills.
diagonal, so I should go bishop c8
That
here.
you what?
And let's
That I
just say
have
white
more
plays
kills
b3. I can go rook b7, overprotect this pawn. And now it's a question of how does white push p on the king side. So this would have been much better, but instead I play bishop b5 here. Magnus plays g4, and now I go f6. And here he makes a big mistake. He plays this move g5. Now, the move itself is not the end of the world, but when you're playing in an Armageddon game, now I'm getting all the pronunciations confused in my head. When you're playing an Armageddon game, there's one basic principle you have from the get-go, which is that if you're playing with the white pieces, you want to keep as
Maybe
many
one
pieces on
more
the
and
board
then,
as long as possible, and you don't want to simplify into end games, because you also at some point have to realize that without increments,
Overwatch
since we're
League.
playing no increment, you can also flag your opponent
what
if
should
they
I?
get too low on time.
I don't know.
So here I felt that if Magnus had played a move like queen g3, let's just say I go like
Friday.
bishop e8 and f4,
Friday
white has
is-
almost
yeah,
a great
now
wall
it's
of China
Friday.
here on the 4th rank with these pawns. You can push for g5 or e5. I don't have obvious plans. I can't push this pawn. Maybe I can go b5. I can't really push pawns on the king side. So I'm in a very bad spot here. It's a very passive position, and I'm down 6 minutes on the clock. So I think if Magnus had done this, he probably wins this game, I would say 90% or more of the time. Instead, he plays g5. Now, while this move is still good, What it allows me to do is it allows me to sort of get some simplification here to where I'm up a pawn temporarily, but pieces are going to come off the board. Magnus goes bishop h3, I go bishop d7, he takes, and now we have a bunch of trades, and I go queen f6. Now, this is exactly the point. Even though white is better here, material remains even, and with only a queen and a rook on the board, I'm not going to have many options. I'm not going to have many decisions here. Like, I'm going to try to go rook f8, maybe attack the pawn, maybe queen f4, maybe queen b2, but that's literally all the counterplay I have here. It's queen f4, queen b2, rook f8, or rook e8. That's it. So I can pretty much zero in and focus on very obvious moves here and not have to waste time thinking about what to do. Whereas in the previous position, just to illustrate it once again, in this position, what is my move? I don't have an obvious move. I can't trade pieces. I don't have a pawn break. Where am I going? What am I doing? So this is why I do think this was a big mistake. So we get to this position here. After queen f6, Magnus plays queen h7, and now I play rook f8. Only move here, by the way, because now I want to move the king, create the double stack, and attack his king, which is also a little bit loose here with only one pawn in front of it. So here Magnus plays rook c7. Now this move I think is a big mistake. He probably should have played e5 here. And if he had played e5, I think there's a very good chance that I would have blundered and lost the game here by capturing with the queen, which is what I had seen during the game. And I thought after rook c7, king e8, I was completely fine. If white checks, I simply go king e7. Rook is guarded, pawn is guarded, and it's all good. I always have queen e1 check as well. However, after king to e8, white has this very nice move, queen c2, creating the double stack, but white also guards the pawn. So if I check and white goes king g2, now the pawn on f2 is guarded, and I'm simply getting checkmated here. If I play a move like rook to f7, for example, white goes queen c6 check. If I go king d8, I just lose the rook, and after queen to e1, white can now go king h2, queen to e5, king g2, queen to e4, and very simply f3, queen e2, king g3, queen e1, and king g4, king f5, e6, or king f5, g6. And in this position, the king is escaping, and white will be checkmating next move and a couple of moves. So I probably would have fallen into this and lost the game. It's also worth noting if I play, right, if I go rook f7 checking king f8, then there's rook c8, king e7 to rook to e8, winning the queen on e5, and white will win the game. So Magnus used a bit of time here. Instead, he plays rook to c7 after a 3.5-minute think. It's worth noting, of course, after e5, I could take with the pawn, and after rook c7, king e8, queen c2, the game continues with queen d6, but as I said, I didn't see this queen c2 move at all, so this never would have happened. I would have just lost the game. Fortunately for me, Magnus made the check. I go king e8, and now white has to be careful because suddenly I'm threatening to win the game with queen takes pawn on f2. We get rook c8, king e7. Magnus trades. He goes queen h8, king f7, queen c8 here, trying to go for queen e6, and here I make a big mistake. I play this move queen e5. Now, for whatever reason, I rejected queen f4. I think I rejected it because I thought after queen e6, king f8, after white plays a move like a4, I didn't see my next move. Now, the reason I should have, or actually not a4, sorry, king g2, and I didn't see my next move, and I was really worried because for a split second I did calculate g4, but I think after queen f5, this ending is winning, if I'm not mistaken. I go b5, b3, b4 takes, and I think this is winning for white. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't want to spend all my time in the world trying to calculate this, because again, if I get low on time and this variation doesn't happen, then suddenly I'm just probably going to get flagged. So I played queen to e5 here, preventing queen e6 or queen f5. We get queen g4, king g6. I do think, by the way, here, queen b7 and queen c7 and queen
Vint fan isn't here again.
Again, after king f5, I still have a pretty good chance to draw.
He's on you.
King is completely open here.
Yeah,
there will be a lot of checks for my queen. Nonetheless, white is her choice. So instead, Magnus plays queen g4. I go king g6. We get king g2, king f6, a4 here, king e7, king f3, and now I make a howler by playing this move g6. Now, the reason I played g6 here is very simple. I wanted to make sure that there are no queen f5 or queen e6 moves, and both of these squares are covered. But the problem after g6 is now this move queen e6 is winning, simply because when we trade, and white goes king g4, and I go king e5, f3, king f6, white now has b3, and this is what we call in Deutsch, Zugzwang. I don't want to make a move here, but neither does white. But whoever's turn it is going to basically be in a lot of trouble here. If it's white's turn, maybe it's still a draw with king g3. Let me double check. I guess it's still a draw with king g3, but if it's black's turn in this position, like it is here, I have to move the king, and after takes, king g7 and f4, white is simply winning, so I go king f7, there's f5 takes, white takes with the pawn, and after d5, there's king g4, king f6, king f4, d4, king e4, and after d3, takes, king c4, king e5, king b5, king b4, takes, king c3, takes, king b5, pawn is guarded, pawn runs down the board, becomes queen, and I lose the game. So Magnus had the time here to try and figure it out, but but he didn't. Instead, he plays king e3. Now, it's worth noting also here, it's very important that without g6, this is a draw, by the way, because after here takes king g4, king f6, f3, I can slide the king to g6, and now I'm completely fine. So it's very critical
worked
that the
that
pawn
way.
remains on g7, and I have this one square available to
Air
the king.
targets destroyed.
So we get king e3, queen f6, king d3, king d8. Now at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm only down 34
But
seconds on
man
the
just
clock, or
died in
36
front of me.
to be technical, and I think I have great chances. So I go king c7, king b7, hide the king here on the queen side with these pawns. King b3 is played, and I play queen d4. And already here, I thought I was in great shape. Because when Magnus had this position, he thought for a long time, and I was looking at king b1, king b3, and I thought queen d4 draws against both. If white goes king b1, queen d4 takes. I simply go check, king a2, queen a4, king b1, queen d1, and we of course have the classic right triangle. And if white tries to block with queen a3, I take the pawn on e4, and maybe I can even win this position. So he goes king b3, I play queen d4, he takes. I check, and he goes king a2. Now, here, initially, I thought queen d1 was a draw, but after king c3, I just could not figure out the draw. Now, apparently, after queen f3, this is an easy draw, because if white goes king d4, takes king e5, for example, I can check. I think I can even take, and with this pass pawn on g5 running down the board, I'll never be in danger. But unfortunately, in this split second, since I didn't have a lot of time, and I don't want to spend like a minute here, because then I'm going to get flagged no matter what, I played queen d3. The only line that I calculated was queen to c1, king d3, and I think after check, I thought he could maybe go like king e3, run this king out, and I just didn't see it. Now, of course, as you guys can tell from the evaluation bar, black is completely fine, and there's not a perpetual, sorry, a repetition. But I didn't want to burn my time, I didn't see it, so I thought, you know what, I'll play queen d3. So I was sure that in this position, even though I'm down a pawn, now this white king is stuck around these pawns, and there has to be some way to save the game. So I play queen d4 here, threatening a checkmate in the corner pocket with queen a1. We get check, king a7, check, I go king a8, not king a6, because after queen c4 check, queens come off the board, and then I'm just completely lost. There's a big white center here, and these two pawns just roll right down the board. So I go king a8, Magnus plays queen c1, I play g4, which is a mistake here. I should have taken the pawn. Again, we're getting low on time. I'm not sure what's going on.
I mean,
after
like,
this move e5, I was
my
very
dog
scared, because now
fights
there's two
felt
connected
fine,
pass
but
pawns.
our
White's
fucking
just going to
boats
keep
were
pushing
just
through
getting
with like e6, e7, and
bombed, I
apparently
guess.
after queen d4, I'm still
I
maybe
bombed
okay,
two of their
but
boats.
with only 45 seconds, I can't do this because Magnus has
Bumba.
instant moves, and I don't have instant moves in reply, and I'm just going to lose on time. So I play g4 here, idea that I want to capture the pawn, but now this pawn is only 3 squares away from the end of the board, so if I ever win this pawn, it should be enough. Magnus plays queen e1, I go king b7, and now he plays e5, I take, and he goes e6, and we have a very strange situation that doesn't occur often in queen and pawn endgames where or it happens in rook and pawn endgames where a rook behind a pass pawn is very powerful. It doesn't happen so much in queen and pawn endgames, but here is a case where my king is 1 square too far away. So if I go king c7, e7, I cannot stop this pawn from getting to the end of the board. So in this position, I check. He goes king up b2. I play queen e7, queen e4, king c7, check, which apparently is a mistake here. Apparently queen e3, obvious move for humans is very good. He plays queen e5, I block, he checks, I go king c6, he takes the pawn, I play queen e5. Now apparently queen d4 here would have drawn the game, but at this point I wasn't sure, so I play queen e5 and I go queen to e2, king a3, and now I play this move king to d6 here, trying to stop the white pawn from reaching the end of the board. Magnus plays e7, I take, and now he plays this howler. Magnus does a classic Botez gambit by hanging the queen, with queen to f6. Now, Magnus obviously made a mouse up at this point. He had like 25 seconds. I have like 15 seconds. I mean, we're getting down to a spot where it's going to be a massive time scramble. He meant to take the pawn on b6 that guards the pawn on f2. But after queen to e5 here, threatening checkmate on a1, guarding the pawn on a5, we have another right triangle, and the game should be a draw, because if white goes king a2, I simply check. I just basically check the king forever, and there's no way out. And after king a2 check, king a3, I simply go back to e5. And once again, white could try to go queen b7 and then queen h1, but after queen c5 check, king moves, I take the pawn, I go g3 here, and there's no way that I can lose this with this pawn so far advanced. However, Magnus plays queen f6, and after king takes f6, he resigns the game, and I win the Armageddon game, and I win the match against Magnus Carlsen by a final score of 2-1. So what does that mean? That means that tomorrow I will be playing in the finals against Fabiano Caruana. Now, since Fabiano has not lost a match, that means we play a standard match of 4 rapid games, 15 minutes, 3-second increment, and he's got 95, and if I take, can't take, yes, oops, there goes the rook. Finally, we got a game. Okay, I'm gonna try to adopt this guy, because now I'm pretty annoyed. Of course, if I don't play good chess, I won't. You're better than challenge him? No, he didn't want to play. I sent out a rematch. He declined. No, I sent a rematch. He declined. It's not like I sent the rematch. He declined. So let's castle and play e5 here. Of course, this guy's FM, so hopefully his prep isn't super great, although if I get blown away this game, we'll know that I'm actually legitimately having a bad day. G4 problem here. Go here and take. Go here, G4, knight c5. No, I mean, he could blow me off the board, because I'm not playing good chess today. I mean, I'm legitimately not playing good
Ryland
chess.
is such a
Red's
goat.
gonna have a field day with you losing 3 in a row to Ali Reza. I mean,
Like,
I
Shane
kinda doubt
wanted to
that,
try
actually,
this
because Reddit's
thing
kinda-
and,
roughly
like,
Reddit
go to
doesn't-
McDonald's
doesn't
and get all
Queen
boots, like,
A5.
get a 6-piece
Yeah.
nuggets and get all boots.
Okay.
All boot.
Like, the shape, the
So 10
boot
times
shape.
4 would be 40 points. So yeah, this is
Yeah.
gonna be a grind.
And
Today's gonna be a grinding stream back to 30.
Ryland's ordering for
goes
him, and he
G5.
just goes, because, like, the person's kind of confused on what he's asking
Don't
for.
know. I'm gonna assume
And
EA
he's
is right. I
like-
really don't know if it's right. Yeah.
Like, all boots,
No,
the
actually, I
the
will
nugget
say,
shaped
big shout out to
boots.
everybody who
I'm
is
just
watching, the
OCD and
4,000
crazy,
guys,
and I
on
want all
Twitch today.
boots.
A big shout out to all the
Like, he didn't
loyal
even have
fans.
to
Let's
go
to
that
7
far,
and
but,
95
like, he
and
really
F6.
stuck
Thanks so much
beside
for
Shane
watching.
in
Hope you
his
guys are having a
endeavor
great
to
day.
get these
I'm not having a
boots.
great day, obviously. I'm playing bad chess, and I missed night. Why did I do this? I mean, he took with the bishop. He taken with the knight, I was actually just clearly worse. A little bit lucky he took with the bishop, but yeah. Okay. Play knight d4. Can also go rook c8. Maybe just rook c8 here. I don't really want to play f6. I mean, I obviously can, but I don't want to. Can play knight d4. You're great, but you're cooked today. Yeah, I'm not playing good chess. I'm well aware of that. Yeah, even this, I guess I'm going to play knight d4. I don't know, this is probably, he's got knight a3, of course. No bueno, no bueno. I'm actually in trouble in this game too. Unbelievable. Let's go here, I guess. Maybe trouble's too strong a word, but I don't think I'm much better. Let's play f6. Try to open up the structure a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, it's frustrating. Plays that, which hopefully is a mistake. I have a3 somewhere in here. Somehow I need to develop, and again, I'm in this situation where I'm thinking too long yet again. I guess I'll go here and maybe rook f8. Maybe I should go bishop f8 e7, actually. That makes more sense. sense. Did I just blunder e5? Don't tell me I blundered this too. Oh great, he's got knight d5. I don't believe this. I did actually just play another terrible move. Let's go here. It's insane what I'm doing. Go here, put the bishop on b7. This is ridiculous. What is wrong with me today? Yeah, I've actually completely thrown this away. Unreal, unreal, unreal how badly I'm playing today.
Are you ready for this?
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Your mic is all kinds of messed up.
What do you mean?
Like it was like
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Okay, and what?
Can you hear me?
Oh, can you hear me?
Barely.
What about now?
Still barely.
Why? Hello?
That's not as loud as I think you think it is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Minions have spawned.
No, it's not that loud.
Probably because I've got like the freaking noise suppression shit on.
Yeah. But anyway, I
Dude,
asked
help
if you.
our team, man.
No,
They need you.
I asked if you were ready.
Yeah, and I said ready for what?
The game.
Sure, but oh, just dropped.
First blood.
Kill and use its form. An eternal ring.
Oh, this guy's like gigafuck.
An ally has been slain.
No way, man.
Oh my goodness.
An ally has been slain. Shut down.
That is so insane that he was able to kill me and get out. Like, I don't know how he didn't die to me. It's crazy. He like, oh yeah, I mean he has Triumph, which is definitely what saved him.
Your turret has been destroyed. Enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill. An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
My form was beyond your comprehension.
An enemy has been slain.
Well, Yorick mid. Oh my god, this Lee Sin Q was so ugly. Twitch is telling me to R?
Your
Like,
turret
F
has
for
been
what?
destroyed.
Oh my goodness.
What's this?
Like creator dashboard.
I feast on your tread. An eternal ring.
Use that again, probably. Yep.
Enemy killing spree. Shut down.
What the fuck?
Your turret
I
has
should
been
have given that
destroyed.
to Twitch, but
Shut down.
wow.
Enemy has been slain.
From nothing became nothing is nothing once more.
Wait, you should go. I need like a word.
Ally has
don't know why we went drag.
Why would we not? Should we give them drag? When their Yorick just TP's top?
I mean, they are stronger than us.
So much stronger that we can't win a 5v4? Like, that doesn't sound right.
Down. An ally has been slain. Down. Your turret has been destroyed.
Fucking Syndra hurts.
Killing spree. Turret has been destroyed. Enemy rampage.
Fuck, man. Why does their Ezreal have to have 10 kills?
has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
I mean, I could definitely just. I'm gonna one shot the Syndra. I'm just trying to peel for you. Just keep running if you can. Or fight slow if possible. Just back up. Let the rat come. Dude, where is my rat?
Enemy double kill. Enemy triple kill.
How? We do everything in that fight to win. It's like 2v5 base or 3v5. I mean, it was really like 2v4 at the beginning. And then Lee came later after we had like already basically won the fight. And I was down to honestly just leave the Ezreal and leave the dragon too. But watching our rat walk down river made me realize we should be able to kill him. But then our rat just fucking goes a long way.
Goes around in circle.
Huh?
Goes around in circle.
Yeah, instead of just walking down the river. Can you get ready to ult Kong maybe?
I don't have my ult.
Okay, never mind.
You have slain an enemy. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Shut down. An ally has been slain.
I'm gonna try and TP behind them. And we're gonna have a chance of winning. That's probably one of the better ones we're gonna have. Fuck, I didn't even see this guy. Holy shit, Twitch just like literally died to the guy's pets. God damn it. Oh, that's so annoying. Fuck. Wait, where's Twitch? Get them. Gee, feels bad.
An ally has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed. Defeat.
What you doing?
What?
What you doing?
Oh, I looked at it. That was during the game.
Oh, you're streaming? What does tunes mean?
Tunes. I guess I'll just put it the other way. If you don't know what that means, then I'm sure there's probably plenty of people that don't. Let me do my like tunes and music, but
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Oh. I'm about to start a trash can fire.
30 seconds until minions spawn. First blood.
start.
Minions have spawned.
Okay, Cho just did some crazy stuff.
An enemy has been slain.
Jazz.
Not really sure.
An ally has been slain.
What are you doing right now? Are you actively working for a better tomorrow? Or are you just waiting for something else to come along? Stop thinking about a better future and start working on it right here in Houston, Texas at Arc Labs Welding School. Beginners can learn the basics and start working in as little as 6 months. If you already know your way around a welding torch, Arc Labs can equip you with the skills you need to take your
It's
career to
just
the next
actually
level
sick
fast.
though.
Don't let today
Hmm.
slip away. See you at Arc Labs. Classes are in
What?
Game sucks.
today.
Hey, do you love discovering new music and
It's so obvious, like my like
Eric DOA? Well, you might
I don't
actually
know.
like my new single call in case you don't pick up the
I just
phone.
pinged that my
Please hang
laner's
up and
missing,
music
and
will
it's
play.
just so obvious that he's moving down. And fuckface still finds a way to die.
Click listen now. I've got a playlist and a bunch more relaxing stuff. Thanks.
Your dreams are important, and not just to you and your family. Dreams drive innovation, change lives, and shape the world. Follow your
Agatha's missing.
Our career-focused programs will prepare you for everyday. While a focus on community means you'll build relationships that will last a lifetime. Find yourself, find your place, find your future. Learn boldly, live to inspire. Learn more at TLU.edu.
You have been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
No, man. Such a fucking rat. Fudge is up here. I'm coming. Oh god.
Damn, I missed my key.
Dude, Cho'Gath is built different.
Yeah, the
Like,
whole
what
fucking
was that?
Everfrost mid Cho'Gath thing is so weird. Like, that champion is not built to interact with that item. Don't feel right.
And his chomp, like, even at such a low level, just does so much damage.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, cause I mean, like that. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like his kit doesn't interact properly with Everfrost, cause like the whole niche of his ult is the fact that it's supposed to be really hard for him to hit, but Everfrost makes it really easy for him to just like walk at somebody in lane. Like if he ever gets an Everfrost range of you, he basically can just Everfrost slow you and just like walk at you. It's super weird. Or at least it's super hard to deal with. I'm here, I'm here. Damn. You should have probably helped him a little bit more. He could have bound the Cho'Gath. What's his name might have lived. Oh shit. I'll block her Q.
Oh, I missed. GG.
Oh my goodness, this Fiora just got smoked.
probably engaged, but consider this your invitation to slow down. Book a hotel and a spa day. Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Sweat it out in the sun. Get a deep tissue massage. And end with the cucumbers on the eyes thing. Experience more relaxation and spa at hundreds of hotels through Sapphire Reserve. Chase, make more of what's yours. Learn more at chase.com/Sapphire Reserve.
Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank and FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Still streaming music and podcasts through your phone? How old school? Upgrade your audio streaming with in-vehicle apps like Spotify. It's simple, seamless, and right now you can try Spotify with a 1-month connected vehicle trial. Visit OnStar.com/Spotify to start your trial.
No matter who they are or what job they do, you want to give your employees all the support they need. And UKG, with their HR, pay, and time solutions, can give you all the tools you need to help you make your people, all of your people, feel like they belong. UKG, our purpose is people. To learn more about UKG, visit UKG.com.
Oh my god, that's actually disgusting. Wow. He didn't die to my... Like, that is just cringe.
Welcome back, folks. You're listening to Top 20 on WSBE. This next one is just swell. Man, do I love this one.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain. Enemy rampage.
Dude, he is so fucked up.
It's all good though. This one should be definitely winnable. Team just needs to not throw. No throw, just win.
No throat, just win.
Agreed. Agreed. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's good.
Actually,
Did
let me
say it.
grab some pinks.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
The goon squad's coming. These people are dead.
AFK.
Huh?
Someone AFK.
No, is it not? What makes it say that there?
Said 3 agreed to surrender.
Oh, then yeah, I think someone must have AFK'd at 3. What is this? Regarding your direct role opponent, rate your agreement with the below statement. I felt that there was nothing I could do against their champion. I'd have to say I disagree because I went like 8-0 against them. We running more or what?
Mm.
You don't want to play more League? You tired or what?
What you doing, Hades?
Alright then. I guess I'm probably down to just go to sleep then.